Okay, hello my friends. Okay, I'm gonna talk in this video in some topic about politics this time. And actually, been while since I've been talking about politics for even I was involved into that, especially in this the events of Egyptian revolution. Even before the Egyptian revolution, I was like interested and involved in that, and even after that by a while. I've been while since I've been talking about it. Anyway, let's get past this past introduction. Okay, I'm gonna talk about in brief about the story of the Egyptian revolution from 2011 to 2013. I'm sure I can't say everything in this short video, but I will try in brief say like tell the most important events like fast, for sure. So I can't say all details. So I be like just jump and like that. So first of all, I just like to explain the roots of Egyptian revolution because things it really did does, haven't started in 2011. There was roots actually since the 1950s since Egypt became independent and it became republic instead of being kingdom. All the presidents are from the military, and people used since 1952 that usually all the power in the hand of military and all the presidents from the military and like that, since okay Sadat been assassinated in the former president Sadat been assassinated in the beginning of 1980s. Then Mubarak, President Hosni Mubarak became president in 1981. So he been like almost 30 years in power. Imagine that, almost 30 years. So he was so confident, and he always used to change the constitution to guarantee it for him. And not only him, all the presidents used to do the same to be in power. But Mubarak, he showed like some willing to inherit his position, to pass his position or to inherit it to his son Gamal. Besides, there was a lot of corruption in Egypt. Okay, I just want to tell you that there was some law called emergency, like emergency law and stuff like that in Egypt. Imagine for 30 years. For 30 years, you know that the police have the power to get anywhere without permission and check it and to arrest you without permission or anything, even to check like people, and like that, to harass them even in the streets, even in the daily life. You can see the corruption of the police and brutality with the police. Actually, I used to live by one of the main police stations in Egypt, in Alexandria. I swear, I used to hear the people scream from inside the police station because, yes, they will torture them or beat them up or whatever, and that was very common. So the police brutality and the police, especially police corruption, was, like in the peak, and like that. And a lot of things about, a lot of people being poor, the economy, the corruption, even this inheritance thing. Even before the revolution, by little you could see. Before that, Mubarak wasn't really mentioned this inheritance thing, but this is even like by 2009 and 2010, you can see posters of Mubarak, and just next to him posters of his son Gamal, the one that he want to pass his position to. So they were just prepare everything, and for 30 years he had no vice president. Imagine. And this is signs for people that he want to inherit his position because usually in Egypt the vice president becomes the president. It's always like that. It's always like that. So he has no vice president, so that was signs that he want to inherit his position. And so there was a lot of like reason for people to be angry. And the thing is, I think it started not in 2011, it started in 2008 when some movement called April 6th. Actually, after that, it's been like movement with this day, but there was some called or called for general strike in 2008 and for demonstrations. And yes, I went to I went to join these demonstrations in 2010, sorry. And actually, it was a bit disappointed because all the streets was empty and people were scared. I could see that from I take all the distance walking to some place called Manshaya, some kind of very well-known square in Alexandria. and I just saw police, only police and dogs and like that, and it was look very like wow, very scary. Anyway, there was another strike 2009. Even in 2010, there is some accident important happening in Egypt. I told you about the police corruption. There was two policemen, like low rank police, you can say junior policemen or low rank policemen. They went to some cyber cafe, and the policemen used to harass people. You can sit anywhere, and some policemen come to you, tell you what is your ID, and check your pockets and see your cell phone. Yes, such like without permission, just like that, used to harass people like that. So these two policemen, they tried to harass this guy. It was in Sidi Gaber, in my close to my neighborhood, by the way. So they tried to harass him, and it seems that this guy, he tried to resist them or tried to tell them like, leave me alone or things like that. So they take him out and they beat him up till he died. Then they took his dead body and they put it like before his house. That was in 2010. Sure, all this accident really it's like made a lot of people crazy, even me, even everyone. It was like that's it. And we all talk. That could be you. That could be any of us. That could happen to your brother. That could happen to you. Sure, in the media they try to say that he is drug dealer. Even in the media they make some fake report that he haven't died from this beating. He died that. He has some kind of drugs because he's a drug dealer and he was trying to swallow it, and this policeman was trying to make him to spit it out, and he died. So this report was false and like that, and that made people more angry. That was in June 2010. So actually started this thing started in the this area, North Africa and Middle East, like in Tunisia and other, maybe we'll talk about it later. So in Egypt, they be like influenced by that, and they decided to call for some demonstrations in 25 of January 2011. Actually, in the beginning, there wasn't the call; it was just a demonstration about the police brutality and corruption. And by the way, you can see it's very common. By this time, you can see videos in cell phone of people being tortured in the police station. So the police will really never care about what people think, so it's just like intimidate you, show you when you can see the video what they do to the people in the police. You can imagine the horror. Yeah, you see what we can do to you in the police station, something like that. I used to think that it's like it's challenging us, try to intimidate us. Anyway, they decided, okay, there is page in Facebook, and by the way, the Egyptian government, they really underestimate, the social media, and what social media can do. So there was like a page called Kuluna Khalid Said. This means that we are all Khalid Said. And they called for demonstration on 25th of January. So it was surprised, like the number of people that been in the street mad and demonstrate against, police brutality and corruption. The police, sure, they didn't allow, anyone to make like a strike in Tahrir Square and like that, and they would control the situation at the end. But I could see for the first time in my life, that the police and the government and the regime that's really shaking and so not that confident. I can see that in the news and like that. For the first time in my life, you see posters of Mubarak, with this X, on it, So there was come the Friday, the January Friday 28. This day it changed Egypt forever, because that was actually, I consider the end of the Mubarak time on the Mubarak regime, and like that. Yes, it was huge demonstrations. The police tried to stop everything in all the police stations and being burned down. I remember like in my city in Alexandria, almost all the police stations would burn down except the main police station. Some police station, used to take off their outfit and like that because people would chase them in the street would be dangerous. Imagine that they used to take off their outfit, and like that, and their uniform. Sorry, they used to take it off, and suddenly find like there is no police in the street. Interesting enough, that I think it was the government did that. They opened the jails, prisons, so the prisoners came out. Then there was some rumors that prisoners be free now on the street. A lot of people be like afraid and try to protect their property. And some people, I think, it is not a conspiracy theory, but I think it's accurate. They try like to scare people, because if you open the prison, these prisons, they will not come out to do something. They will just go home, you know. But the people were afraid, and everybody to try to protect their property. And I think they were trying to make people busy, like protect their property instead of, you know, protesting like that. But actually, the protesting like continued for 80 days. And for 80 days till Mubarak, you know, he through these 80 days Mubarak tried to hire some vice president called Omar Suleiman like that, but nothing worked. Even he tried to make some emotional speech to people, and some people really convinced with this emotional speech. But you know, there is some kind of stupidity. You know, some of his allies, you know, try to attack Tahrir Square to remove these people that they make like they are in some strike in Tahrir Square and like that, you know. So even the protesting and demonstration continued. Then he decided at the end, you know, to give up, and actually the military who forced him to leave the power, you know, the Supreme Council of Armed Force in Egypt. We can call it the military council, you know, that easier way. They've been in charge after Mubarak being pushed away from power. Actually, the video gonna be about to finish. Unfortunately, I couldn't tell everything. Maybe the other video, part 2, I'm gonna talk about the rest of the story of the Egyptian Revolution. Thank you for this, you know, and I wish you like the video. Bye.